Go.
All right. Hey guys, welcome again to part 2 of week 7. We are going to do the same thing as part 1, except now we're going to be factoring to solve. So these should be very familiar to you from our previous work that we've done together. All right, so if we look at this, this has, remember, they're connected by plus or minus the term. So this is one term and another term. There's two terms and they both have sine of 2x in them. Okay, so they both have that. I'm going to factor that out. Sine of 2x multiplied by whatever's left here, root 3, secant of 2x minus, I took this out, the 2 equals 0. Okay, set our factors equal to 0, we're ready to go. Sine of 2x equals 0, and root 3 secant of 2x minus 2 equals 0. Let's go and get this one first of all. Notice it's sine of 2x, so I'm probably going to have more answers than normal, same with this one over there. Sine of 2x equals 0, go to my circle. Sine is up and down, it equals 0 at these two locations. Okay, and I don't think I put it up here, or I might have erased it. Let's be in degrees for this one. It includes 0 but not 360. Okay, so this one is 0. And the other one is 180. Again, it's not 360 because 360 excuse me, is not part of my domain there. Those are my two. I'm going to divide by 2. X equals 0 degrees and 90 degrees, and I'm going to add the period until I'm out of range. Okay, the period is 360 divided by 2, which is 180. That's 180 degrees. I'm going to add it as many times as I can before it's out of range. Okay, and here comes my answer for this half the problem. Remember, these are good ones here. 0 degrees, add 180. 180 degrees is another good angle. Okay, if I add 180, I'm at 360. I'm just out of range. That's no good anymore. Okay, I'm on my next set here. 90 degrees, I'm going to add 180 to that. That'll give me 270 degrees. And if I add 180 to that, it's going to be too much again. So those are my answers there for that part. Okay, now I shouldn't close this side because I'm only halfway done with the problem. I have to do this part as well. I'm going to get secant of 2x alone. I'm going to add 2 and divide by 3. 2 over root 3. Okay, I can't work with secant, so I have to find its partner. Secant's partner is cosine. So cosine of 2x equals root 3 over 2. All right, and here again I'm going to go to my circle. I'll go back on this one over here. For cosine, I want it to be positive. Those are these two places. And root 3 over 2 for cosine is a 30. So this will be 30 degrees, and this is 330 degrees. So 2x equals 30 degrees, or 330 degrees. Divide by 2 to get x alone. Okay, and x in this case equals 15 degrees plus 180 degree n. Notice my b is 2 here, and the period is 360 over 2. It's 180, just like on the last problem. And the other one is going to be a half of 330 is 150, and 15 is 165 degrees plus 180 degrees n. And look at my answers and put them all in this grouping here. So 15 is another good answer. 15 plus 180, that's 195 degrees. If I add 180 to that, notice 195 down here, if I add 180, I'll go around past 360, it's out of range. All right, so I have this one now, 165 degrees. I'm going to add 180 to that, that is 345, if I remember right. Hope I did that right. And if I add 180 to that, that is out of range as well. So this entire problem, those are all the answers that will satisfy the original equation up here at the top. All right. So we just factor to get them alone. Take each factor, set it equal 0, and then you're doing the work I showed you in the last video. All right. This looks like a big, crazy, long problem. But if you notice, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 terms. And so when we factor with 4 terms, we're factoring by grouping. So So I'm going to really be factoring those two together and then these two separate. Okay, and hopefully it'll work out nicely. All right, so I'm looking at what I can factor out of here. It looks like I can take out a sine of x out of both of these terms, and that's it. Oh no, I have a 4 and a 2 in front of it. You messed 2 root 3. That's like 2 times root 3. It's almost like 2 times x, so I can take the 2 out. So I can divide here by 2, take 2 out, and I can take sine of x out. Okay? In order to multiply this to get this term here, I have to multiply by 2 cosine of 2x minus root 3. If I multiply this by root 3, I get 2 root 3 sine of x. Over here, I can't take anything out here, but my signs are wrong, so I know that if I take a negative 1 out, that'll adjust that. Negative 1 times a positive 2 cosine of 2x. Okay, will give me the negative 2 cosine of 2x. And then minus root 3, a negative 1 times minus root 3 will get me the plus root 3 I want. Okay, we're factoring by grouping. These two match as they should. I'm going to pull out on the side, have one of those, 2 cosine of 2x minus root 3. And then I have a 2 sine of x minus 1. I want you to notice in this problem that this one has a number here, so I have to worry about adding the period repeatedly to that and doing this new work. This is like a regular one here where I should just get my 2 answers and I'll be finished, and I'll show you how that works in relation to what we're doing now. Let's go get this one. This will be the harder of the two. So I'm going to get it alone. I'm going to set these both equal to 0 and solve for them. So cosine of 2x equals, that'll be positive root 3 over 2. Okay, on my circle. Also my b is 2. I'm in radians. My period is 2 pi over b. 2 pi over 2 is pi. So my period is pi in this problem, this part of the problem right here. I'll put that here. Okay, cosine I want it to be positive. That's going to get me these two angles that I'm looking for. Sine of 30 is 1/2, sine of 60 is root 3 over 2, so cosine of 30 has to be root 3 over 2. We did that a minute ago here. This is 30 degrees over radians again, so that's going to be what? Pi over 6, and this is 12/6 pi, so this one is 1/6 less, which would be 11 pi over 6. And I'm going to have to add the period again. The answers are pi over 6 plus, okay, pi n. I know I'm going to have a common denominator, so right away I'm going to make that 6 pi over 6n. That'll be the same for the bottom here. 11 pi over 6 plus 6 pi over 6n. And these will get me my answer that I'm looking for here. All right? Keep in mind that 12 pi over 6 is my limit. That's actually 2 pi. That's too much. So once I hit 12 pi over 6, it's out of range. All right, let's get our good answers here though. Again, these are good answers to start with. Pi over 6 is a good answer. Pi over 6, that's 1 pi over 6 plus 6 pi is 7 pi over 6. Plus 6 more is 13 pi over 6, which is too much. Out of range, out of the domain. The next one is 11 pi over 6. Whoops. 11 pi over 6. If I add 6, that's going to get me 17 pi over 6, and that's too big, so that's all I have out of that one. I only get one of those. Okay? All right, we have another half the problem to do. Solve for sine of x equal positive 1/2. Okay, that too are my 30-degree angles. Okay, for sine to be positive, those are the upper two quadrants. This will be 30 degrees. Again, we're in radians. That'll be pi over 6, and this will be 5 pi over 6. We call this as 6/6 pi, and I'm going to back off 1 and get 5/6 pi. All right, and now this one. So I'm going to go write the answer now. These are the answers, and I'd be finished with the problem. But I want to talk about one more thing. Notice my answer to that out of order, and I have 2 pi of 6 written there. I don't need to write that twice, so I'm going to just go ahead and take that off. But those are all the answers that we have to the problem. All right, I want to talk about this. So You know, why is it different than the other one? Well, let's go ahead and do the old way. This is extra work I wouldn't normally do. But this will be x equals pi over 6 or 5 pi over 6, which is what we do when those are answers. Okay, but if I add the period, notice the number is 1 in there. So my period is 2 pi over 1 is 2 pi. And if you notice, if I take pi over 6 plus 2 pi, well, that's going to be greater. If I add that, that's going to be greater than 2 pi. So anytime I add that, and like in all the problems we did before, we didn't worry about this. That's because our period was 2 pi or 360. And if I have an angle and I add 360 or 2 pi, it's too big already. So we don't bother doing that. Same with 5 pi over 6. If I have 5 pi over 6, if I add 2 pi to it, it's too big. So I don't need to worry about doing that here. There's no number in the front. I don't need to worry about it because my period is going to be too big if I add it. Okay, but we really do that same thing all the time. We always can find the angles that are the answers, add the period repeatedly until you're at a range and you'll have all the correct answers. Okay, that's it. Again, your assignment is right here. Good luck to you, and again, let me know during the week if you have any questions. And I'd encourage you to keep working. We're almost done. This is our week 7. We have 2 more weeks after this, so we have 2 more lessons and 2 more assignments where you guys that are working can get your extra points in, and it should be about a whole test that you can get 100% on if you do that work, and it could greatly improve your grade, especially if you're needing improvement on it. All right, thanks. Have a good week.